Hello and welcome to Central Georgia Focus, the Ask Mayor Miller edition. Each month we sit down with Macon-Bibb County Mayor Lester Miller. I'm your host, Liz Fabian from the Center for Collaborative Journalism. Thank you so much for joining us again, Mr. Mayor. Now we're sitting down with just a few days remaining in the Georgia General Assembly. So how's the session going from your perspective?
It's been a very interesting session this time. I think obviously there's a lot of bills in the state. Some of those affect Macon-Bibb County, some of them do not. I think our local legislation has gone through both the House and the Senate, so I think we're in good shape on that. Be ratified here in the next couple of days.
And that's on the senior citizen property tax exemption?
Right, the senior exemption, and I think Representative Tangi Herring carried that bill very well, actually through the House, and she's one of the few Democrats that got something done in the Senate. So we're very pleased with her and all those that sponsored that with her. So we look forward to putting that on a referendum for this year, assuming the governor is going to sign it, and I think he certainly will do that. So we're excited about that. We're still watching some other things through the legislature concerning some homestead exemption taxes. So we're eagerly wait to see what kind of bill they put up, and it's probably going to be the last day of session, which could substantially affect the way we do property taxes in the state of Georgia.
Anything on the speed camera legislation? Has that been changed at all? Are we going to continue with the status quo?
Well, I think they are working on that. I think it was House Bill 651 that's dealing with a possible referendum. So it's in the Senate right now. They passed something out that may come back to the House. But once again, I think we'll be waiting on the last day to see what passes there. And like I've always said, whatever the state wants to do on that law, Macon-Bibb County will follow suit on that. So we'll just wait to see what happens. And
the historic tax credit bill increase passed. How important was that to Macon's revitalization?
Very substantial. As many of you know, that we use, we're one of the top users of those tax credits in the state of Georgia, and a lot of our revitalization in the downtown area comes from the tax credits, and a lot of the growth that we had in our digest comes from that. So we're so excited. The Chamber, Newtown, everyone, Historic Macon, all came together with local folks and really let the legislators know how important it was to us, and it went pretty well in Atlanta for that. So we're very satisfied with that.
County recently had groundbreakings, groundbreakings at Pleasant Hill for the new landing complex and also the new health clinic in Unionville. Can you tell us a little bit about those projects?
Sure, I'll take those in reverse order. First of all, we started the day with a clean slate over on Pansy, and that's a project that's been a long time coming. We've been working together with Dr. Henry Ficklin, and of course, Congressman Sanford Bishop is a big part of that, and from ARPA funds that we had. So long story short, there's 3 medical students came to see me in my first year in office with a possibility of a plan there to get more health care and more credit for them as well. So it's kind of a dual situation there, and we were able to get some substantial funding over on Pansy and Unionville to provide no-cost treatment there for people in the neighborhoods, but also some good quality credits there. But the people in the neighborhood can see folks that look like them doing that type of work. So it's very, very, very good project. And of course, on Pleasant Hill, it's a project we've been working on a couple of years. It's actually an idea that I had in the very beginning. I saw the old school falling in over there, people stealing things over there. So we worked out a nice deal on that school property, the old Progressive Academy that was there and the charter school that was there. It's a clean slate now. Sheridan's beginning to work on that project, and it's going to be out of the ground and open for business next year. And we're very excited about that. 64 new residences, along with some other things the county's doing on that same piece of property there.
I see the Macon Melody followed up on the Macon Newsroom's look at the Community Enhancement Authority there in Pleasant Hill that still hasn't accounted for the millions of dollars that pass through it. Have you heard anything about the future of that organization?
Not really. We had only one appointment to that board, and the previous mayor, Rickard, he appointed a gentleman there for that time when he was there. Of course, they don't do the Booker T. Washington anymore. They don't do the Little Richard House anymore. So there's not a lot going on there. Somewhere, somehow, someone needs to do the audit to account for all that money, and I hope somebody at the higher up does that. I've seen some articles on that as well, but there's really been pretty stagnant. It's kind of frustrating to go through that neighborhood and looking at all the work that we're doing there to look at an organization that hasn't really kept up their end of the bargain there. Some of those houses that were built for substantial money are now boarded up, so there's a concern for that. So we hope that they have some investigative reporters that actually will finish the job and see what's going on there. If not, perhaps some state officials will jump in to help out there.
Of course, since the close of the legislative session is just around the corner, that means that the campaign season really picks up for the election season. Now, y'all had a special called meeting of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to set the stage for the special election for Macon Water Authority District 2, and there was some confusion about that process. Can you explain it?
I don't know if there's any confusion. You may have some people who don't know the law and don't understand it. First of all, it's automatic. When somebody resigns in that position with so much time on there, it must be held at the next election, if at all possible. Sometimes somebody may resign such late and you may not be able to do it. So that next general election for nonpartisan races is May the 19th. It automatically happens. We don't have to get any permission from anybody, but as soon as that became vacant, we had to set the qualifying fees for that, and then the Board of Elections has to call that election. There were some time restraints that we had to meet because of the military. You have to get the ballots out to the military, and we want to make sure that we had all the ballots, all the people that are running for office on the same ballot. As you recall, a couple of years ago, when Gary Bechtel was running for that seat over there at state, and Valerie Wynn ran for his seat that was unfilled, we had to have two separate elections at the same time, which means I would have to go vote for this election for whatever's on that ballot, and I have to clock in again right beside it with another machine and vote for that. That's real complicated for people, and it's also expensive. We didn't have enough machines. So we were forced to call a call meeting, as well as the Board of Elections to do a call meeting at the same, basically the same day to get those deadlines met. Great to say that 4 people have entered that race, and before the time expired, and we'll have early voting coming up from that at the same time as all the other elections. So it should be painless for everybody.
And since we last met, too, there's been a discussion about shifting code enforcement into public safety, which y'all did. And again, there was a lot of discussion about that around the horseshoe. So can you explain what that was all about?
Yeah, I don't know what all the people need explanation about. They have no more powers today than they had the day before we did that bill. Quite honestly, code enforcement is a part of our public safety. We just didn't make that formal. One thing we had is that there's certain equipment and technology that you need, and we need to purchase for that department to do their job. And a lot of times they don't sell that to only people that have public safety staff. And of course, we needed to have that to make that happen. Plus, code enforcement has picked up some new jobs, additional jobs and responsibilities based on helping the sheriff so they can have better response times and better use of their resources. So they were able to take on some additional jobs, but to do that, you got to have the body cams, you got to make sure you have the proper training and go through all those things. It's certainly not a new police department for the mayor of Macon-Bibb County. It certainly did not have to go through the charter. People were misunderstood about that. It does allow them to tap into some benefits like the incentive that if you're there for 10 years, then of course you're eligible for incentive. I think we may have 5 deputies there that will do. But the bottom line is most of these code enforcement officers were sheriff deputies anyway at some point in time, whether it's in Macon-Bibb County or somewhere else, or police department or military. But they still need the training, and we need to make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's. Or I guess that's how it goes. So I think that it's a little bit, people try to read more into it than what it really is.
And of course, public safety encompasses fire, the sheriff's office, EMA, and now code enforcement, so they're all eligible for those benefits. Now, Bob Fenimore asks, where are all the traffic officers? He says he sees them working traffic at churches and for funeral details, but not catching the folks going through the red lights or making illegal turns.
Well, that's a good question. I think recently the sheriff has put together a new unit, and he's working on that now, and he'll be making some requests from Macon-Bibb County to go back to a type of a traffic division. So you'll see more cars roll out there with lights and sirens and all that good stuff, and hopefully people will obey the law. I mean, really, if people would simply obey the law, we wouldn't need all this additional equipment and officers, but that's part of it. I think, we're going to see some additional exposure there for officers in the very near future. We're waiting on the SPLOST to pass to buy some equipment there. So I think he'll get his wish, and all I can say is be careful what you ask for, because we're going to follow the law. I hope we get better response time. That's what it's all about, getting there quicker and doing your job. And I think that's what the sheriff's working on, and we're going to play our part in it, within what our resources will allow us to do.
Well, when we come back, we'll answer quite a few of your questions and comments concerning vandals, vagrants, and litter. Welcome back to Central Georgia Focus, the Ask Mayor Miller edition. Now, our JPB partner, Grant Blankenship, has submitted open records requests for the information from the January point-in-time count for the unhoused folks. Both the county and the Georgia Department of Community Affairs that accepts those statistics say they don't have the numbers, but Jake Hall's Root Analytics contract to do that study actually ends today. And so has there been any report to you on the homeless population or what they've learned? Have you gotten that initial report?
I think when somebody's filed an open records request, that's all we need to say. They'll get the information as they're supposed to get it when it exists. I know that the count has been done. I know that we're working on that. I've got some preliminary just remarks on that. I think it's going to be pretty good actually for Macon-Bibb County. But you know, the route analytics is the time I think may have expired on paper, perhaps today or tomorrow. But we'll be continuing that through June 30th to the end of this cycle year to make sure everything's done properly and get ready for next budget session. So I'm pleased the way things are going. You can always do a better job, but we really have to document everything. I've been in touch with DCA myself. We're working on some grants and some other things. We're also going to be working in conjunction with the Newtown, Macon, on some of the issues or challenges that we had downtown. So not worried about that at all. You know, we had sufficient funds to cover the route analytics and the work that they're doing. We just did a 90-day to start with. But we'll pretty much just amend that because we had the funding for that for a few more months. So we'll be ready to go next budget season, and we'll get all that documentation in just as soon as it's available.
Yeah, because I thought that there was supposed to be some sort of report midway through, and I don't think anything's been reported yet because we haven't been able to get anything from the open records request. And we had multiple people email us this time about issues concerning the unhoused. Nancy Brannon Kelly's concerned about Spring Street and Gray Highway, says there's a whole shopping center too on Emory Highway with windows smashed out and boarded up, and we've seen broken storefronts in downtown. So what really can be done about all of that?
Well, I mean, if someone's violating the law, that's what you have a sheriff's department for, right? So there's your answer. This is not a new problem. We know what's going on. The Spring Street, I think, is always going to be a challenge until the interstate project is complete. We expect that to be done by the end of this year, at least the downtown portion, so we can better secure that, better secure the trails and those types of things. It's really difficult to work around those large construction projects to try to keep everything open. And at the same time, if you go in there to do the encampments like we do, the resources and then removal, those folks are going to go somewhere, and you don't want them to run toward the issues that we have there. So Spring Street's going to get much better. I keep saying that. It is going to get better. I'm convinced that our unhoused and unsheltered are actually down, and we're making progress on that. You just see them more readily now. And I think when we have our expansion of the jail that's coming up in the very near future, you'll see a lot of that getting addressed through some things we got going on there as well to make sure they have the proper treatment they need, a proper place they can go to, and be able to expedite the process of them getting the help that they need. So I know it's a slow process. People just have to stay with us. We have to make sure we follow the law too, right? We just can't go out there, start arresting people, violating their rights. They have rights as well, and we need to make sure that we observe those rights. And we're going to help the people we can help, and those that are more chronic, we have some long, standing things we have to do on that, and we're seeking input from lots of sources.
The vandalism is one thing. J.T. Allagood said that at that Spring Street exit, a lot of people are coming through town, like either going to Athens or going toward the beach on 16, and they see that public urination or the drug use. And is there anything new? I know we had talked last year about possibly having more tools in terms of getting people to forcibly get help.
Well, I don't know about forcibly get help. You have to be careful with those types of things. But I will say that one of the things we talked about with code enforcement is making sure that they have the public safety delegation. That designation there that they have will allow them to more tools in the tool belt, more enforcement that they can do. There's a state law which deals with what you can do on right-of-ways. And, of course, we have our local ordinances. So depending on where the folks that are unhoused at, we have a different kind of procedure we have to go through. But there's a policy and process for everything. I don't like getting off the interstate too and seeing 4 or 5 people holding signs or people sleeping. But guess what? I see it when I go to Savannah. I see it when I go to Atlanta. People still go there. They shop there. They realize these are human beings, and it's a work in progress. So we're going to keep working as well as we can. We also will take any solutions that people out there have. If they have a place that they want to bring somebody to their house, certainly we can provide them a nice, stable housing there as well. But right now we're doing the best job we can with the resources we have. I am happy that some conversations that we had with the state and the governor's office has paid off in their budget this year. We're going to have some mental hospitals that are bad, and I think that's going to help a lot with the situation. One's not going to do it. 2 or 3 will certainly help out, and we're hopeful that things can change in the future on that area.
Now, Amanda and James Upshaw, they regularly pick up trash along Nottingham Drive. I mean, every day, and it's comebacks every day. They want to know what's happening on the multi-million-dollar Okmulgee Heritage Trail, too, because there are tents set up right along the walkway. Do you know, once construction's done, are there some sort of plans for that? Yeah,
just like I mentioned earlier, is that there's a process. Certainly, we kind of set up our own little policies on what we want to do to strategically take care of the folks that need the help. And one of those things means we have a couple of, usually a week or 2 of resource. We go out there, we visit them, we educate them, let them know where they can place their stuff at, give them any resources, point them to some things or places they can go to get housing or other type of addiction help that they have. And certainly right now, why the interstate is there. I mean, people keep talking about that, but I can't snap my fingers and make sure the interstate is just done.
Right.
It's not an excuse. It's real. When you've got lots of beams and concrete and lots of machinery out there, you have to be very careful what you do. And like I said, it'll be clear. Our code enforcement is going to be riding that on a regular time basis once that takes care of this year. So like I said, I'm very hopeful that we're going to take care of those issues in the very near future. We've got a plan. We're following through with that plan, but we also must follow the law.
And yes, for solutions, Mina Dean said, can nonviolent county prisoners or inmates be put to work picking up the trash and even mowing rights of way? Barry Robertson agrees, but he went a little further, said that work detail should be done in all kinds of weather, like sleet and snow and heat. But can we use work details anymore?
Well, what these folks don't realize is we don't have inmates. We don't have a prison that is under our control. There's a state prison in Macon, and certainly if someone wanted to pay those folks to come work, possibly they could do that. But these are people that are waiting to go to trial. We're basically just holding those people, whether they're in there for probation hold, for violent felonies, for charges they can't get a bond on or can't make bond on. We can't go out and work these folks. We can't go out there and make them do anything. We're just basically providing a place for them to stay until their court case comes up. Now we do have some detail, like trustees that are over there. They do go out and do these types of work, but it's going to be way insufficient to make that happen. I know it makes people feel good to see people out there in prison uniforms working. I guess it just makes their heart tender or something. I don't know. People say it all the time. It costs more to have prison detail than it does to hire a person that's out there legitimately trying to feed their family that's out doing right for business. And last thing you want to do is overpay just to get somebody that satisfaction of having somebody out there in a prison uniform, and you're taking the food out of the mouth of people who are trying to support their family that have these types of businesses. So we would rather do business with people that are out in the public paying their taxes and obeying the laws than to do some type of indentured servitude for people that are in jail. So, we don't have a prison here. There's the prison out on Fulton Mill Road out there. That's a separate state system correctional facility. All we have is a holding facility for people waiting to go to court, and you can't force labor on them, nor should we. And a lot of those folks haven't even got a bond, so they certainly don't need to be out there on work detail.
And if it's my recollection, those state details haven't happened since COVID. I mean, I might be wrong, but I haven't seen any.
Very, very few. And they're you have to pay about $250,000 just to book them for a period of time, over a period of time. And like I said, we don't need to put our good local people out of work for trying to hire inmates.
Well, when we come back, we'll look back at the Cherry Blossom Festival and look ahead to a potential new celebration. Thank you for staying with us for Central Georgia Focus, the Ask Mayor Miller edition. Now, we've just wrapped up the Cherry Blossom Festival. Any thoughts to share about those 10 days?
Oh, wow, amazing. I think we're going to set some records out there this year. We had 10 beautiful days of great weather. I ordered all that. I'll take full credit for there. Lots of great events, and I can't say enough about Stacy Moore and her staff doing their job. I appreciate all the queens and princesses and little Mr. and Mrs. being everywhere they're supposed to be on time. The Saturday and Sunday events were amazing as well. Never seen so many different tags from all across the state of Georgia and outside of Georgia in downtown Macon spending money. Prices tick up a little bit every year, and I hear little people say, I don't pay this much for a corn dog, but you're paying for the atmosphere. But at the same time, when you go to the grocery store today, your prices are going up too, so you can imagine the vendors have as well. What I really enjoyed about seeing this year is there's a lot of local vendors participating. I think it's always good to have people from out of town to come bring some fresh ideas. But when you can incorporate your own local food trucks and people making some money as well, I appreciate that a lot. And like I said, it was great from start to finish. Crowds were big, and I know we'll get the numbers very soon, but I'd be willing to bet that we've set a lot of records this year in 2026.
Do you know when the Walnut Street renovation process will be over? I know you wanted to have it done in front of Cherry Blossom, but it was just a big mound of gravel in the parking lot. Is that getting close to being finished?
Well, it would have been finished before Cherry Blossom, but these two tornadoes kind of put us behind.
Oh, so, okay. I was wondering if there was a holdup.
The date was going to be finished. It's going to look great. You've seen the drawings of that. And then right behind that, we'll be paving the roads and doing some other things there. So I would say probably the paving will be done in the next 30, 60 days. And then the rest of the project will be bid out to finish the road.
One of our former senior queens, Jan Teasy, said she ran into a family from Illinois that was struggling with the parking meter, and so she happened to have some change that she carries for that purpose and helped them with that and, got them on their way. And then when she went to put it in her meter, it didn't work. So she wonders, how long are we going to have to suffer with these meters not working in downtown.
Meters work downtown. It's owner-operators the problem. Operators are the problem. Get a 4-year-old child to let you know how to use those things. I'm not an
Well,
expert at it as
sometimes
well.
you can't put any coins in, they're jammed or something.
It's called an app, APP. Get an app on your phone, just like everybody's going to do, like where you go get your plane ride, your train ride. You're not doing pennies anymore, right? Pretty soon there may not be quarters or nickels or dime. Just come to 2026 with the rest of us. Get you an app on your phone. Hey, you can't just use that in Macon. You can go to Atlanta, you can go to Memphis, you can go to Savannah. All these places use that app. Just like the Peach Pass when you go through Atlanta, and you can use them in Florida as well. Unfortunately, we have to grow a little bit as citizens ourselves, and it takes some getting used to. And I'll be the first to admit I'm not the best on technology myself, but you know, like I said, ask a 4 or 5-year-old, someone younger, you know, than ourselves.
That's what grandchildren are for, right?
That's right. They can take care of that. But the parkings are very good. You got to have the parking meters downtown if you want to have a downtown. If you don't have one, you won't need one, which means business is terrible in downtown. That's not the case these days.
Well, one of our broadcast partners, Daryl Smith, asked if you could consider proclaiming May 21st as Bill Elder Day. The radio legend recently passed away, and Daryl said that May 21st was his birthday, and he was loved by several decades of loyal radio listeners.
Well, he can't claim that as his own because we're already working on that.
Are you?
My good friend
Okay.
Kenny Burgundy reached out to me the day that Bill Elder passed away, and certainly I agreed to do that. He sent me some information. We're putting that together in a proclamation, and I suspect May the 21st will be the best day to do it. So, you know, just be careful what you ask for. We're going to make that happen, and it can't only for your own idea. But I will thank Kenny Burgundy because he reached out in the very beginning to me that, and I said, quite honestly, we all going to love and we miss Bill Elder, and I listened to him in 99 Ways coming up myself for many years when I was much younger. But I think we can make that happen.
What's your favorite Bill Elder memory?
Oh, Lord. There's so many of them, but I mean, I was just young and he's just a great person. I mean, I talked to him probably, it's been about 6 months ago. He was having some challenges there, but, you know, I love to turn on the radio or broadcast and be able to see him even today.
I know Frank Malloy shared at his memorial service when he did the Carol of the Bells in honor of Del Ward, and it was tro, trody, tro, tro, trody, tro, tro, trody, tro, tro, trody, tro. But yeah, lots of good memories there. Anything new on Lake Topasofkee? I know that's one of the repeating questions I always have, but you know, everybody got excited about the potential for glamping out there.
Yeah. Well, I believe it's still going to happen. I mean, it's just a process. I mean, everything, like I said, doesn't happen overnight as much as we want it to happen overnight. We're just jumping through the stages. Right now, we're having a contract. We're putting some more information out there to the public. We've had engagement. So I think sometime in the next year, you'll see some action on that.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor, for joining us. And thank you for participating in Ask Mayor Miller. Remember, send questions to mercerccj@gmail.com, and we'll get some answers next month. Have a good day.